Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and our technology partner Prime Infotech Solution. This is the Emerging CyberSec Professional series, and today's theme is navigating business development in cybersecurity. In today's episode, we will be delving into the professional journey of Saradhi Koradala, Information Security Manager at Synclature. With a diverse background that spans IT support, content creation, and cybersecurity management, Saradhi has become a trusted expert in the fields of data privacy and IT governance. His experience with GRC frameworks, ISO standards, and risk management has made him a vital leader in enhancing cybersecurity for business. Join us as we explore his insights on navigating the complexities of cybersecurity, his personal inspirations, and how he balances a high stakes career with his personal life. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Jolly. I think it's privilege that I have shortlisted for this particular session. I hope this session will be very informative and very helpful for a lot of people and my colleagues and my friends. And I'd like to personally thank Amir sir. I think he's not here. Maybe I'll talk with him later. Thank you so much for him as well and for shortlisting my profile for this particular session. Yeah, we
It's an absolute pleasure, sir. You already know my name, but let me just introduce myself for the audience. My name is Jolly. I'll be the host for today's session, and I'm also the associate with the Prime Infotech Solution. So, also, let me tell you the brief flow of the conversation, how today's conversation is going to be. So
yeah.
it's three rounds in total. The first round is the professional questions round. The second is the personal questions round. And we would be ending the entire conversation with a very fun rapid fire round. So let's get started with the very first round, sir, which is the professional questions round. And my very first question to you would be that how did your transition from IT support at S Square Systems to an information security manager at Synclature shaped your career in cybersecurity?
Well, I think a lot of people ask this question to me. Transition from IT support to information security or cybersecurity. I would like to answer in a way that the entire domain of IT support, right? Initially, when I have joined Square. I think I have worked almost 1.5 year at Square. There, my complete role was to handling the incidents, responding to changes, do performing risk assessment of the changes, so ensuring the SLA of this particular tickets, basically IT support kind of thing, where at some point of time I understood that this is not the actual career making for me. However, I wanted to learn some technologies where I was very much confused in terms of where to land up. So you have a bunch of technologies in front of you, like it's like a buffet. You don't know what to start, what to eat first, but you have items very well designed and very well made. However, so I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Ashok sir, who is my role model for me in my professional life. So he's my manager at Esquire Private Limited. He's now SBO head at Nose Infosystems. So under his guidance, I have worked with 1.5 year at Esquire. So we were casually discussing what to do further in terms of what technologies are hot in the market. So what quickly I can learn, because I don't have time to settle up in the market, because I have already graduated from LPU in 2020. So I have to learn quickly and I have to expose myself quickly in the market. I have to understand how I can fit in the market and I have to pick that technology. However, we have discussed a lot of technologies like blockchain, cybersecurity, AI, and we have discussed machine learning, full stack, middleware, and bunch of technologies. So now, to start something of this technology, you should have some a coding skills or some other skills or whatever is required. However, Mr. Ashok sir, he's also ISMS LA lead auditor. He also participated or conducted audit for his previous companies. So he suggested, why don't you get into cybersecurity? So that was a moment where I picked up this particular technology or domain for me personally, because I could see how this could scale in the market. Okay, so I have started learning some basic fundamentals of cybersecurity, like what is CIA, what is IEEE, what is threat, risk, vulnerability, and also entire basics of network. What is a firewall? What is IDS? What is IPS? What is SIM, SOAR, and all. So I started learning the basics of some cybersecurity fundamentals on the internet, number one. And number two is another shout out to Mr. Venkat sir, who has taught me initially sessions on trainings on cybersecurity for me without no cost, to be honest. So I would like to thank him as well, where he, under his guidance, I have learned ISO 27001 standard initially. And after taking this training, after 8 months almost, I have given and took training ISO 27001 lead auditor from BSI. It's a 5 days of training in Hyderabad, where I took, and I have learned a lot from the tutor and from the Ashok sir and from the Venkat sir. So these three are the really role models for me to enter into cybersecurity or the information security manager. And after working and getting certified with ISMS LA, I have decided to let's pursue my career in cybersecurity, and that's how I landed at Synclature, my current company. It's been almost 2.5 years for me working at Synclature. So we are basically a consultancy firm. We provide a lot of services to clients, starting from GRC services, implementation of ISO 27001, 27701, 22301, 14001, 9001, multiple standards, information systems audit. We also perform the VAPT as well. So advantage for me as consultancy is you can learn wide variety of technologies aspects, wide variety of standards, I would say, guidelines, frameworks. So this has given me an opportunity to explore myself more at Synclature. So I started digging or taking opportunity at Synclature to learn myself. And in that this month April, I have promoted to manager at Synclature, handling multiple projects across the cybersecurity frameworks and guidelines. So now last November also, I have qualified and certified with CISA. That also gave me a boost to my career, and to pursue my further concepts of cybersecurity. So that's how my transition from IT support to cybersecurity is.
Okay, sir. So, what key challenges have you faced in enhancing cybersecurity and data privacy as a manager at Synclature?
Very good question. I think there are a lot of challenges that we face during the implementation stage, right? So when we start implementing any of the standard, take it ISO 27001, people, a lot of people are aware of this standard, right? So when I take this standard, we start from the scratch. So companies, they're not completely aware of what to do, how to do, and what is the procedure that we can implement with this standard. So what I start from the beginning of the implementation, right from the understanding the business till support for the stage two. So between these 4 to 6 months, the challenges that I could see is lack of management support. Number one. Some companies are they just want a certificate, not the kind of implementation point of view. So if it's basically a risk for your organization, to be honest, because implementing controls implementing controls can give you some less risk, but if not implementing controls and everything is risk accepted, this will lead to a lot of consequences in future. So management doesn't care about what to be implemented, and they don't support in terms of what solutions to be implemented. So they usually want the certificate, that is it. So a lack of management support and commitment towards the information security. So we have a clause number 5 in the ISO standard, which talks about leadership and commitment. So ISO also tells key leadership and management has to be committed towards information security. That's number one. And number two is lack of resources support. So information security is basically an additional job for their responsibilities, to be honest. So nobody is paid for the what they're doing for information security, because it's an additional support we required. So if I'm IT guy, I manage basic IT responsibilities, right? But on top of that, there's security aspects as well. So a lot of resources they don't want to work this additional responsibility because company is paying this much, company gave me this responsibility. Why would I work on other information security responsibilities? That is a one uh, challenge that I have seen. We have created multiple of committees. We created multiple ISMS champions groups to overcome these challenges. Number two, and the third thing is ki, once we are performing the risk assessment during the implementation, right? So usually we don't get support from respective stakeholders. So performing risk assessment, risk management process is a very lengthy process where a stakeholder involvement is required for us. So the risk management concept is completely with the stakeholder, because as a consultant, we can't go and do, we are only authorized to explain the methodology process and what is risk, what is threat and vulnerability. However, we actually require the risk from those department of functions or from their processes, because they're the actual owners of the risk. So lack of challenge of understanding of risk management is one of the key challenge that I would see. And in ISO, obviously there are a lot of documentations also, so people usually hesitate to work on these documentations. That is one challenge, another challenge, sorry. And next, uh, I think the vendor risk assessments, where I see a lot of companies are neglecting performing the vendor risk assessments, because a lot of data is being shared with the vendors, right? So they're not worrying about the data shared with the vendors. However, they only worry about the data shared within internally or on premises. So to overcome this, we have to validate how the controls are implemented from the vendor perspective as well. So I think these are the challenges that I could see from information security or cybersecurity point of view while implementing such standards.
Okay, sir. So, how do you approach building a robust governance, risk management, and compliance framework at Synclature?
I think it's a very good question. I feel GRC. So let me break down this governance, risk, and compliance. Okay, so a lot of people are thinking that ki ISO 27001 is a GRC. It is part of GRC. However, there are multiple standards, guidelines, and frameworks which helps you to build a robust governance, risk, and compliance. So let's break it one by one first. Understand how can you build a governance and what standards you can refer, number one, and how can you build or understand the risk management and what standards guidelines you can refer, number two. Number three is from compliance point of view, what kind of regulations and what kind of circulars you have to adhere, and what how you this compliance management is basically we understand with the number three. So let's break down governance. So governance is basically, it defines uh, a complete management support, I would say. So because the word governance is basically derives from the management, and basically by approving some policies, procedures, developing the policies, procedures, and establishing the clear responsibility. That's where the huge lack is here. Usually a lot of companies doesn't have the segregation of duties. Okay, so if I am, we have control in ISO as well, ISMS as well. So if you have a complete control on segregation of duties, right? So your governance is sorted, to be honest. So that is a one approach. If you keep defining your responsibilities, your committees, and you start defining proper policies, procedures, and you start defining your proper communication channels as well, which gives you a proper understanding of entire governance. Apart from this, the org structure, the reporting structure of the stakeholders is very important in the governance as well. So all these things matters in terms of enhancing your governance. So there are multiple frameworks which I would personally like. COVID-19, not COVID-19, it's COVID-19. Okay, so this is basically a governance framework fundamentals which will give you to enhance your particular governance structure. So from governance perspective, this is the one of the framework, and there is a ISO 37000 standard as well, which gives you a proper governance to be enhanced or developed in a company. So apart from this governance, let's talk about the risk management. So risk management has multiple approaches, multiple concepts, multiple way of doing the methodology. So there's sequence in the risk management. First thing is you identify the risks and perform the risk assessment, do the mitigation plans, and then keep on monitoring the risks and review those risks and understand the entire risk management process. So a lot of companies has different methodologies. Obviously, number one is key, they do risk assessment on your processes. Some companies do risk assessment on asset based risk approaches, basically identifying the risks on each asset. Okay, so if you are identifying if you're identifying risk on each asset, that's a very value added approach for each company, I would suggest, because each asset has a risk. Maybe it could be critical, low, medium, high, whatever. So every these days data is everywhere, right? So it's not about a process has the data, but every asset also has the data, and they're also very high and critical in nature, right? So performing an asset based risk approach would highly recommend, and define a methodology as per your understanding. Okay, so couple of companies, they start methodology like they define methodology like uh, giving values to confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Couple of companies, they define methodology for threat, risk, and vulnerability. They couple of companies, they define methodology on your probability and the impact. So it depends upon your organization on how you want to define the methodology, but completely it's up to you. But asset based risk approach is suggestible, because so that's where we can easily identify the critical assets. So from the standards point of view, right, there are multiple standards from NIST, ISO 31000, and 27005. So these risk management frameworks will give you an overall understanding of how to perform a risk assessment, how to build a risk assessment in a company. So coming back to my way of explaining two approaches, two types of risks. One is qualitative risk assessment, second one is quantitative risk assessment. So qualitative risk assessment is basically identifying risks and not assigning any numbers, but you will be assigning a description format. So if there is a risk, ABC risk, and how you address this risk is basically you identify this risk in description format, where you identify it's a high, medium, or low risk. However, you're not validating any numbers, any cost associated with it. But in the quantitative risk analysis, right, risk assessment, right, you give a numerical numbers in terms of if there's any data breach happened. So you identify risk for that particular data breach, how much is impacted, how much is the cost that could arise from this particular data breach, and all these percentages, all the numerical values, usually we call them, right? So that we can ensure that if tomorrow the same data breach happens, so we should be ensuring that key, okay, my cost goes this much if some same risk, same incident happens tomorrow, or maybe down the line. So this is the advantage of performing the quantitative risk analysis, because that's a very easy assessment and gives you more effectiveness in nature. So these two are the types of risk assessments. I would highly recommend to go with the quantitative risk assessment, which gives the value in terms of identifying for each risk. That's covers the risk point of view. Now coming back to the compliance point of view, so there are multiple processes built in each entity or each organization, I would say. However, every company directly associated with the government laws and regulations, right? If you see your SEBI or RBI or IRDI, uh, income tax, certain MATI, and all. So these regulations are directly falls under the companies which are there to those particular which are in the business of this particular nature. So enhancing or making a compliance more effective, one way of doing is to identify your regulatory requirements first. So in ISO, we have a requirement of a legal register, which is a good to have document, we a record, we say. This legal register is basically listing down or pen down all your legal requirements. Okay, and next we can ensure that the regular audits, like, it can be an internal external audits, maybe your ISO audit or maybe a SEBI audit. So which gives you a proper enhancement to your processes in terms of compliance. And the third thing I would suggest, ki you please focus on monitoring the latest updated circulars that you get from SEBI, RBI, whatever, so that this gives you latest updation, and you can be preventive in nature, so that you can update it, all your documents, controls, whatever is required additionally before the timelines. And maintaining of documentations properly before any regulatory authority audits is something also a good practice to other the compliance. So these factors are the proper and one more thing is following the compliance circulars on time, sending incident reporting on time. These things will give us an insurance that okay, we are adhering to proper compliance. So as I mentioned, the frameworks are as like your SEBI, your RBI and RDI. Other each and every point wherever there's shall mentioned, you don't have any scope to skip this particular clause or the domain. So this is the broader way or explaining of GRC.
Okay, sir. So, what strategies do you employ to ensure cybersecurity and IT audit processes align with the business goals?
So when I say IT audit processes, right, there are multiple way of auditing the business goals. So now I started a business. I have kept a goal that I have to reach. I have to ensure that my business resilience is compliant, and I don't want to see any disasters. I want a DR to be implemented. So now you will be primarily focusing on the BCP DR controls over here. So every company has the objectives defined. Okay, so the ISO standard, we have a lot of 27001 and 9001, a lot of standards. So you have to define some objectives. Okay, so the goal of this is to understand okay, as a company, not only from the business improvement point of view, from security point of view, or from quality management point of view, or from business continuity point of view, or from environmental point of view, how I am defining the object is very important. As I mentioned earlier, from infosec point of view, there are some objectives like I want to ensure that my antivirus is updated in all the end systems. I want to manage all the threats which are across the globe. So this is my objective I have defined in my particular policy or particular document. However, you keep the domain in mind and audit these particular objectives. One more key thing, a very valid activity, I would say, is a measurement and metrics. So now you have defined your business goals or objectives to a particular extent, but how you are measuring those particular objectives are very important for us. Like example, I have mentioned okay, I want to ensure that I want antivirus to be deployed in all the end systems. But what end systems, what frequency you want to deploy, and what frequency you want to audit this, and what frequency you want to ensure that everything is compliant, and you also ensure that okay, I want a target of 90% of my end systems want to be deployed. So this measurement and metrics is very important for us to KPIs, we say, right? Very important for us to manage the entire auditing of business goals, number one. And from the IT audit point of view, what I have learned from CISA, whenever you do audit, right, you always a good way of doing audit is to go with the risk based approach, identifying risks from each processes, and give the list of risks and how we are overcoming these risks is what very important for us. And number two is adhering to the compliance and regulations. So now whenever I perform audit on compliance department, I start with reading the SOP, understand the processes, and understand how they are following the SEBI or RBI regulations, and how they are adhering to those regulations, and how much I'm reverting to those SEBI and RBI compliance. So that is very important for us. And next, as I mentioned, business continuity these days is it's very important for every company to sustain their business in the market. They don't want to lose any kind of data. They don't want to lose any kind of uh, money or whatever. So everyone wants to restore the systems as soon as possible. Everyone want to restore. Nobody wants to make a loss of the data. So this is the one of the good factor to go with the proper effective of IT audit. And engaging the stakeholders, that is also very important for us. These these are the factors that I could see to ensure the cybersecurity and the IT audit process are aligning with the business goals. The only statement is to define whatever has been defined as a goal or objective. You have to understand how much we are adhering to those objectives and understand how much you are complying, achieving those objectives is very important. So the KPIs, KRIs will be your main target for this. And not only mentioning this I'm achieving, but what evidences you are validating during the audit is very important for us. Like as I mentioned earlier regarding the 90% of the antivirus are deployed, but as an auditor you have to ensure that key whether 90% of the end systems are deployed with the antivirus or not. So this is the some certain areas where I look into auditing the business goals.
Okay, sir. Sir, how has your experience as a content writer and editor helped you communicate complex cybersecurity issues more effectively?
See, content writing. I'll give you a small story. During COVID-19, we just graduated from the college. Okay, so we are a bunch of friends and cousins. We don't know what to do, but we have to do something which is interesting for us. So my cousin Sandeep, he's a developer basically, where he developed a website called Crunch Stories. So when he developed the website, he decided to let's make a content writing in the website, which is basically automobile. He's mechanical engineering graduated, and he wants to write content on automobile engineering, focus on the one key area. So he started with this particular automobile category in this website. Later, I joined. I took care of tech, like your mobiles, your laptops, your updates, antivirus updates, and a lot of tech. I used to take care of it, and so slowly, one two team has become 15 team where we are writing the content on the website. Which is a new experience for me because we have to pass our time during the COVID, right? We don't have any option to get out and do something and chill out, nothing. So we have to sit in front of laptop or system and do something that you want to do. So this has given me a very good opportunity. I never expected also. In audits, right, you required a proper healthy conversations with the stakeholders. So because if you're doing audit, there are a lot of management is involved. So you have to properly communicate your language and set the language tone, and all these things matters for me. So when I started writing the content, I understood the pain of picking up the words. So these words I am currently using for my audit reports. It's very easy now. It has been very easy for me to make a reports in terms of writing reports, making the reports, auditing or framing my sentences. So it's become very easy for me to do these such activities. So when you're auditor, right, you should be good with a good listener, you should be a good writer, you should be a good reader as well. And so these things and these things has given me a good opportunity, definitely. Again, I would like to take this opportunity to say, Sandeep, thank you so much, because of him, a lot of we started giving internships as well, because we started our corporate life, so we are very much occupied with our corporate life, and we did some internships where they have come up and they have scaled a website to beauty tips, history, and lot of categories we have added. And a very good activity, and I think we have spent some productive time during the COVID, and which gave me a long-term sustainability in terms of writing audit reports or communicating properly with the respective stakeholders in my corporate life.
So, what are some of the trends you foresee in the future of data privacy, and how are you preparing for them at Synclature?
Yeah, I think it's very good question. I think we have to discuss this a lot here. When I say data privacy, I think these days it's become a common or uh, uh, a discussion kind of thing where everyone is talking about data privacy after DPDP. I think we are yet to get confirmation of or the final act in a couple of weeks expecting. So how I am prepared, right, Jolly? So we have a couple of clients in health tech and fintech and on the banking sector as well. So before DPDP comes, I should be proactive in terms of adhering to those particular guidelines. So what we have decided with the mutually, there's a standard called ISO 27701 Privacy Information Management System, which is almost 60-70% of GDPR. So we have pitched our client ki, why don't you adhere to this PIM standard, which gives you some assurance of adhering to the DPDP Act, which is going to come in couple of weeks or couple of months. So the approach is ki we started from the scratch of implementing privacy aspects, starting from uh, understanding controller processor, starting from doing the risk assessments on privacy, performing a data mapping activity for our clients, and understanding whether data is being transferred to outside the India or not. So we started digging deep in privacy in terms of how can we interlink the GDPR 27701 ISO standard and the DPDP. So if you directly adhere to GDPR and the 27701, I think DPDP will become a very easy job for you to implement or adhere. That is number one. And the next thing I would like to expect from the government is to get an act on AI. I know it's off topic, but again, EU AI Act was already come out. So in India, AI is becoming a people are using us in a bad way or negative perspective. But if the government launches this particular AI, which could give some guidelines on how to use the tools of AI, that also that will become a very good benefit to the companies, and not only companies but to the personal lives of everyone, and everyone will be a little safer hands. And building the technologies by privacy by design, like data minimization, your pseudonymization, and data masking, and lot of controls on your consent management as well, opting and opting out. So these controls can give you some enhancements to technology point of view. So I would expect the DPDP to be get ready, and we are almost complying with the ISO 27701, so that we are proactively taking this opportunity to implement the privacy. Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to someone entering the cybersecurity field who wants to focus on information security management and audit?
Oh, good question again. So whoever wants to, I'll tell. I have explained my path, how I have started my journey, right? So these days, a lot of people are running behind certifications, which I feel is a very bad thing to run behind certifications.
Right.
They have very less knowledge in terms of what certifications are. It's very common to certification. So it's basically your 2 or 3 days of training where you have to attend, and where you have to understand the complete standards. It's highly impossible for anyone. Rather, I would suggest it's a highly recommended field for anyone, the domain, who wants to pursue their career in cybersecurity. Start with understanding the fundamentals. Okay, number one, like basically there are multiple areas in the cybersecurity to understand. Like I explained earlier, like understand basic CIA, what is IEEE, what is IAM, what is SIM, what is SOAR, what is antivirus, what is a phishing email, what are OS top 10 attacks. Understand the networking concept, understand uh, SSDLC concepts, understand the business continuity concepts. So when you start learning these concepts, right, you will be easily understanding how the standards are built out of these concepts only. It's not rocket science, obviously, but you have to create your base stronger so that you can get into cybersecurity. And if you want to get into VAPT, there's again a completely different story, obviously, from the GRC point of view. So you have to understand a lot of top OS top 10 mobile security vulnerabilities and secure coding guidelines and vulnerabilities and all. So this is the one suggestion key: don't run behind certifications. They won't give you not even a 1% of value if you don't have knowledge of on these certifications. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So that is it for the first round, which is the professional questions round. We are towards our next round, which is the personal questions round. And uh, my first question to you would be about your formative years. How were that years, like right from the school to your college to the first job? how your experience was? Would you like to share with us?
I think since my childhood, I have been continuously learning, curiously understanding new things. My father has told me only one thing, that ki whatever you like, whatever choices you like, you only go and chase those choices. That's it. Pick up those choices as per your likelihood. And completed my schooling and my college. I think my turning point was my college. I graduated from Lawley Professional University, which is in Punjab. People has a negative factor on this particular college, but I want to break these rules and talk much about my college, because I don't even know how to speak English before joining this college, to be honest. Okay. Uh, Now I have 24, 25 states of friends. Whatever state I go, I have friends across the states, across the countries as well, which has given me not only communicating properly, from the behavioral point of view, from the professional growth point of view. My college has given me a lot of things to which you face, or challenges that you could foresee in the future. I have learned it before only. I think all thanks to my college, definitely. Uh, Obviously, I used to run behind the challenges that I could face, and run behind my passion towards learning, exploring new technologies, and developing a foundation first, and then stepping to the rest. That's what my way of approaching any kind of stuff.
So, what are your hobbies or activities which you indulge yourself into to unwind after a long day at work?
So activities, I'll go back to my college. I started playing basketball with my friend. So that is the moment I feel. I don't know why I started, but it's been an addiction for me since till now. Every day after my college, 5 6, I used to play literally 5 6 hours in a single day. Till now, basketball is my favorite sport for me. I spend my complete weekend. I used to spend my complete time out of my room in the basketball court and watching the NBA basketball games, and just to stress out things, and recently I started meditating, because after your corporate life starts, I think your complete journey again restarts, I would say. But these are the things that I could currently I could see in my life, which are going on.
So, as you mentioned, like you have started doing meditation after like your journey in corporate world has begun. So, a very related question to that would be that do you believe in the concept of a healthy work-life balance in a very demanding career? Do you believe in such system?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's required. See, it's all about how you deal with those consequences. First of all, Jolly. So every human being has challenges. Every human being has to come out of stress. Even a person earning 10,000 per month has some stress. Even a person earning some billion dollars has some stress. So everybody has stress, but it's all about how you deal with it. So you break down your structure. Like I used to work after working hours and weekends if it is required or urgent situations. But if it is nothing is urgent, then you maintain your working hours strictly from 9 to 5, 9 to 6. Go home and take your time apart from this working space. And
Definitely.
and apart from this, I would feel I think a lot of corporates are physically in the terms of physical activities, they're not much involved. Exercising every day will give you a really good results. I think I'm following these factors since couple of years, which gave me a good result for me, to be honest. So yeah, these two, and definitely your time management, which is a very good factor. After my migration to Mumbai, I have learned a lot of time management, because running behind the locals and metros will become a huge challenge for you. If the train is scheduled at 11:30, you can't go at 11:31 because you will miss the train. So
Right.
you have to be there at 11:29. So I learned time management from coming to Mumbai. So these are the things which I could currently balance. And after starting my corporate life, I started traveling alone and understand who I am, understand my weaknesses. So till now, I'm traveling alone. Multiple places I've traveled to: Himachal, Northeast, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Bangalore, Mysore, Ooty. And Punjab, obviously, it's my college, so I have roam entire Punjab, Chandigarh as well. I went to Jammu as well. So traveling is something I could see myself where I can stress out myself not much, but definitely it gives a proper balance of your work life. So at Synclature, we usually work at vacations, which we call vacations. Okay, so working at vacations is something a vacation. So we go for vacation and we work and we take our vacation. So that's how we currently I'm balancing my life. Yeah.
Are you into book or shows that for entertainment or inspiration, like however perspective it would be? Are there any particular shows or books you really like?
Not shows, I would say, because again, after understanding how to manage your entire work life, uh, after using a laptop or system from morning to 9 to 6, I have reduced my screen time, to be honest, from 4 hours, 6 hours average to less than an hour in a day. Uh, yeah, coming back to shows again, definitely it's not my choice. Definitely from books, yeah. Again, it's been 2 years almost for me learning some couple of books, and it's a 1 year for me learning Bhagavad Gita. I'll tell you why it's important for everyone, irrespective of religion, I would say.
Right.
It's very important for everyone to read Bhagavad Gita, how the karma factors are there, how the destiny factors are there. You literally you change yourself, your self discipline will change, your time management will change, your detachment with a lot of things will change. So your confidence, like how I'm confident right now, if you see 2 years back, I don't even know how to speak, to be honest. So Bhagavad Gita has given me a good way in my life. I would proudly tell that I read Gita to self motivate and to understand and pursue my personal life. And I started meditating as well, so a lot of things has been additional factor for me after reading Gita. That is number one. And uh, Ellen DeGeneres. So she's basically an American comedian
Yeah.
uh, and television host as well. I like her, the way the humor that she has. She has written a book called "Seriously, I'm Kidding." So I read that book once. It has a very proper humor, and which gives you a positivity, a laughing, and the struggles of her life, which has written in a humor way. So these two books are very favorite of mine. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So last question for this round that if you are to describe yourself in one line, what the line that would be?
Always curious to learn new stuff in terms of technology or in terms of any kind of activities. Explore the world and just chill out.
Okay, sir. So that is it. We are towards our last round, which is the rapid fire round. And as the name suggests, that you have to answer really quick. So should we start? Are you ready?
Absolutely, I'm ready, 100%.
Okay, sir. So a morning person or a night owl?
I'm morning person.
Books or movies?
Books for sure.
What's your favorite tech gadget?
Mobile.
What's one cybersecurity tool that you can't live without?
Sorry.
One cybersecurity tool that you can't live without.
Antivirus.
Favorite weekend activity?
Weekend activity.
Yeah.
Of course, basketball.
If not cybersecurity, what alternate career would you pursue?
Actually, I think it's a very good question. I think we haven't discussed. I know it's a rapid fire, but I want to
Right.
take time to explain. Uh, so I want to pursue my masters in computer science. But however, COVID has given me a backslash. Ki, don't do this all stuff. I think now I landed up a very very good position now. But yeah, maybe a developer kind of thing I would like to land up. If not cybersecurity, yes.
Definitely, sir, and it's never too late. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
never too
yeah.
late.
Now I think masters in computer science to masters maybe in cybersecurity.
Definitely, exactly. That's the whole idea, sir. Okay, moving forward, best productivity hack.
uh, I think you morning routine. If you start your day with fresh, and the entire day is going to be fresh.
Your dream travel destination.
Oh, I think I have to address multiple over here.
Okay.
Sorry again to cut you.
No, 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 no,
It's
no. Yeah,
rapid
please
fire.
continue.
Destination and goals. Let's combine both. One is my favorite team is Golden State Warriors, and I like
Mm,
Stephen Curry. I would like to meet him, number one. Definitely at any cost, I'll meet him in a couple of years. And
okay,
number two is, since I like music, I would like to go to Tomorrowland, Belgium.
right.
And since I like bikes, I would like to buy BMW S1000RR, just sports bike. And since I like traveling, I would like to. I recently was a reel on Northern Lights. Okay, I don't know how suddenly it got me interest to travel to Sweden or Finland to see this Northern Lights. It's a beauty of the nature, to be honest. You know,
Right,
these
right.
are the factors currently which I want to uh, s- visit or achieve in next couple of years.
Okay. What's your go-to way to relax after work?
Oh, I think after traveling to Mumbai, I think spending time alone at beach, listening to music, and this is the time that I could relax, understand
Uh,
what challenges you are facing, and deal those challenges.
okay, sir. Last question. One piece of advice you live by.
Advice, I think staying motivated every day. To be honest, I start my day with a diary. I keep my things spent on personal and professionally. What activities I have to do, and what activities I have to do in professional and personally. Like what client calls I have. I penned on all these things. I stick to this particular agenda of this particular entire day. So this gives me a motivation for me to complete the day with good.
So that is it for the our conversation today. This has been a wonderful experience, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did having you on this show. And again, thank you for taking your valuable time off out of your busy schedule to have this session with us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. I think I have to thank you, Jolly Singh and Amir sir, for giving and picking up my profile and taking the sessions, which is very good. I think we have to do it more in future, and
Definitely, sir.
let's do this in person if it is okay. We have to
Absolutely okay, sir.
explore
Yes.
a lot of concepts and explore a lot of cybersecurity and data privacy domain. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity for shortlisting. I think. Yeah, good that we have spoken a lot of aspects or the areas.
Definitely, sir. And we would be loving to have another session with you because this particular session was so insightful by the due to the crunch of time. We could not like take every question that we had and all the details that we would have loved to discuss. But again, it's never the last time, but it would always be a next time. So let's stick to that. And for our audience, please stay tuned to watch this and many other interesting conversation episodes on our YouTube channel, the Coffee Conversation Show. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we will be looking forward to another interesting coffee conversation with another guest speaker. Thank you all for joining, and thank you so much, sir, once again.
Thank you so much. Welcome.